Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into something pretty mind-blowing. We are exploring a massive, totally invisible economy that runs not on currency, not on trade, but on pure human connection. You know, we usually hear the word economics and immediately think about banks, stock markets, and profit margins. But there is an entire spectrum of human activity happening right now that completely bypasses the wallet.
Seriously, just pause for a second and think about this. What actually drives us when money isn't the motive? Think about all the things you do every single day for absolutely free. I mean, you don't send your family an invoice for making them breakfast, right? And you certainly don't charge a cover fee when you hold the door open for a stranger. There's this deeply rooted emotional engine driving a huge, huge portion of our daily actions.
Just look at this perfectly everyday moment. A mother reading a book to her baby. She isn't clocking in for a shift. She's not expecting a paycheck at the end of the story. She is doing this out of pure love and affection. Because, let's be real, you simply cannot put a price tag on a parent's love. In the economics world, this actually has a name. It's called a non-economic activity, something driven entirely by care, operating completely outside the bounds of traditional financial transactions.
And, this goes way, way beyond just parenting. It's the guy taking a few minutes to help an older woman cross a busy road, or a father sitting down at the kitchen table to help his son figure out his homework. These everyday acts of sympathy and humanity are the literal engines, and really the glue, of our communities. But because no cash is changing hands, traditional economics categorizes them in a completely different bucket.
All right, so let's actually pin down a formal definition here. Non-economic activities are actions carried out solely out of love, affection, sympathy, humanity, or patriotism. And the ultimate goal of all this? Self-satisfaction. The true return on investment here isn't a quarterly dividend, it's just that warm internal glow of doing the right thing.
Let's quickly break this down into 4 core features. First up, they are done only for self-satisfaction. Sure, it doesn't pay the electric bill, but it absolutely fuels the soul. Second, there is zero financial gain in return. Third, they cannot be measured in money terms. After all, what's the current market rate for a genuine smile, right? And finally, number 4, they do not produce anything for the market. You aren't making a product to be boxed up and sold on a store shelf.
Okay, moving right along to the 6 everyday categories, or basically how human goodness organizes itself.
Even though these actions are totally driven by emotion, we can actually classify them pretty neatly into 6 types. First, you've got social activities, like showing up to a friend's wedding or a birthday party. Then, political activities, which are driven by a sense of patriotism. Third are religious activities, whether that's worship or making a donation to a temple. Fourth is charitable work, stepping up to help the poor or disabled out of pure sympathy. Fifth is parental, which is that deep love and affection toward children we were just talking about. And finally, recreational, just playing games, dancing around your living room, or binge-watching TV for your own joy. No profit involved, just having fun.
So that brings us to the money test. When exactly does an action change its economic nature?
This is where it gets super interesting. Take teaching, for example. On one hand, you have a father helping his son study at home. That is a non-economic parental activity done entirely out of love. But if that exact same person goes and teaches a class of students in a school for a salary, the entire context shifts. The physical act of teaching is literally identical, but the second you introduce a paycheck, it instantly transforms into a wealth-producing economic activity. Wild, right?
You see this exact same flip happen in sports, too. Grabbing a bat and playing cricket in the park on a sunny Sunday just for fun? Purely recreational. Definitely a non-economic activity. But stepping onto a professional pitch as an athlete to earn a living? Boom, that is an economic activity. The whole shebang changes based on one single dividing line, the motive of earning wealth or income.
All right, to wrap this all up, let's look at comparing the 2 worlds, wealth creation versus human satisfaction.
When you lay them out side by side, the differences are incredibly stark. Look at the objective. Economic activities aim for wealth, while non-economic ones are driven by love, affection, and sympathy. For measurement, one is counted in dollars and cents, and the other, completely immeasurable. But the real kicker is the results. Economic activities create wealth and actually add tangible value to a country's national income. Non-economic activities don't add a single penny to the GDP. Yet, they are almost entirely responsible for our actual satisfaction, happiness, and overall societal well-being.
It really just distills perfectly down to this quote: "Economic activities create wealth, but non-economic activities result in satisfaction and happiness." We absolutely need that economic world to survive, to put food on the table and a roof over our heads. But as you go about your day tomorrow, I want you to ask yourself, which of these two economies truly makes your life richer? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, keep an eye out for those invisible moments of human connection.